welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in today's show is Elven Town from the game Shining Force 2, and it was composed by Motoaki Takenouchi. We have quite a handful of very exciting music for you guys this week, and I just want to get right into it. This next track is coming from Croc 2. This is The Mine, and it was composed by Justin Scharvona and Karin Griffin. That track that you just listened to, that was The Mine from Croc 2, and it was composed by Justin Scharvona and Karin Griffin. I'm actually a little surprised with this track because I don't really get too much of a mine vibe from it. And I think it's mainly because of the guitar. And I also really don't know too much about this game. I know that the original Croc, it was originally planned to be a Yoshi game on the 64, but then development kind of shifted over to the PlayStation, and then they created their own original character, which is Croc, which I kind of failed to mention that this game was developed by Argonaut Games, who I would like to say that they were best known for developing the Super FX chip and the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo. And when I was doing a little bit of research on this game, I was surprised that there was a Game Boy Color version of the game that was developed by Natsume and had an Iku Mizutani soundtrack on it. I would like to check out more of this PlayStation soundtrack and also eventually check out the Game Boy Color soundtrack as well. This next track, it's kind of a fun one. This is Andy's House from the game Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, and that was composed by Andy Blythe and Marten Joustra. That track that you just listened to, that was Andy's House from the game Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, and it was composed by Andy Blythe and Marten Joustra. I think just like the Croc 2 track, I was a little surprised with this track, and I've actually had quite a bit of experience with this game, and it doesn't even matter if it was the Nintendo 64 version or the PlayStation version, and even the Game Boy Color version of the game. I've at least dipped my toes into all of them, and I think there was a version of it on Dreamcast, but I actually did not play that one. And a big difference between this PlayStation version, that's the track that I just played, and the Nintendo 64 version of Andy's House, is that on the 64 one, it is just a MIDI cover of You Got a Friend in Me, and that this one was an original piece, and this kind of goes all over the place. And I think as a first level music, I think it's pretty great. And this game is actually surprisingly quite a bit of fun too. So it plays like a 3D collectathon where you get kind of thrown into like sandboxy type levels where you gotta run around and collect these Pizza Planet tokens. They're like the stars of Mario 64 or Jiggies from Banjo-Kazooie. And the game loosely follows the plot of Toy Story 2. And you even visit some areas that you really don't really see in that movie either. Just like Andy's neighborhood, or I think there was one level where you're at a construction site. It's definitely a game that I would recommend people to check out if you're into 3D collectathons. I'm actually really excited about playing this next track because I wanted to bring something from Yakuza 0. This is Crash Addiction, and it was composed by Hidenori Shoji. That rocking track you just listened to, that was Crash Addiction from the game Yakuza 0, and it was composed by Hidenori Shoji. I have recently started getting into the Yakuza series thanks to the Xbox Game Pass. They have like almost every game on there. And I started off with Yakuza 0, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the story and the characters were very engaging, and the gameplay was actually quite a bit of fun. And what was really cool is that you have all these different fighting styles, and with each fighting style, there's a song that plays with this. And this specific song, Crash Addiction, plays when you're playing as the protagonist Kiryu, and you play with the Beast fighting style. And it's not just the fighting music that I find really good. I just find a lot of the cutscene music and even just I would call it the background music to be really good as well. So there was quite a bit of really nice rocking sounding tracks, and I recently started Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of the first Yakuza game, and I kind of noticed on that it was going for a more techno sounding vibe. So I wonder if the music kind of changes quite a bit from game to game. I'm not so sure, but these games have been a really nice discovery for myself, and I kind of get why a lot of people seem to really like these games as well, so I can't wait to try out all the games. This next track, I think, is a pretty good one. It's coming from the game Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is Depot, and it was composed by Iku Mizutani and Kinuyo Yamashita. That track that you just listened to, that was Depot from the game Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it was composed by Iku Mizutani and Kinuyo Yamashita. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you can think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you could also check us out on Twitter at vgmjourney. We also have a Discord server, and I will throw that link into the show notes. And you could just come in and hang out with a bunch of other VGM journeymen and talk about games or even look at some nice art. It's a good time. I definitely recommend that. And we're going to play things out with one more track. This track is coming from Rugrats, Totally Angelica. This is Fashion Show, and it was composed by Cate Pelose. Have a good week, everyone.